Hi everybody, and welcome to the worksheet practice for Module 5, Lesson 16. If you don't have this, don't worry about it. You're welcome to just follow along. If you want to try these problems on a piece of paper, feel free. So the top part of this module is multiplying by 9. So for the 9s trick, one thing to remember is the 9 always stays the same, but whatever number you're multiplying 9 by, you can use your hands to figure it out. So for the first one is 3 times 9. So we're going to do 3, 1, 2, 3, put my finger down on the third. So then the first two numbers are what goes in your 10 spot. So that's a 2, so it's 20. Then you count everything over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7. So that's the 9 trick. So it would be 2, 7, 27 is 3 times 9. So I hope that you enjoyed that little refresher on the 9s trick. If you didn't know it, awesome. If you did know it, great. Ooh, I'm gonna make it big so we can see it. So for this part, it says, partition the number line, then place each fraction on the number line. So we're doing from 0 to 2 on my first one. Making sure you can see it in the camera. All right, and we're dividing it into halves. So I'm gonna make sure that I have a different color, and I'm going to do, oops. And we're doing halves. I'm doing it in purple just so it's really clear to you what we're doing. I'm just writing the unit fraction next to it so I know what I'm doing. So they gave me the first one. So 0 would be 0 over 2. So my next one would be 1 over 2. The next one would be 2 over 2. And I don't really have to do anything with this one because they did it for me. Then the next one would be, continuing on our number line, we would do 3 at the numerator and 2 as your denominator. So it'd be 3 over 2. And then your last one is 4 over 2, because that would be 4 divided by 2 would be 2, because you had 2 holes in that one. And remember, when you're dealing with anything above 1, your numerator is going to be larger than your denominator. So for the next one, for number 2, I'm going to slide this up. There we go. We're dealing in fourths. So I'm going to write the unit fraction here just to remember what I'm working with. I'm dividing things into fourths for this one. So we're starting out with 1. That's why they started out with 4 over 4, because that is the same as 1 whole. When you have 2 numbers in a fraction that are the same on the numerator and the denominator, that equals 1 whole. So my numerator is going to change throughout it, but the denominator is always going to stay the same. So the denominator is always going to be 4. So for this one, it's 4 over 4. So we're going to follow our pattern of numbers. And we're going to do 5 over 4. Then we're going to do 6 over 4. And they have skipped one. They're missing one. Because we should have 7 over 4. So we really should have one here. So they did not do a good job on this one at all. So I'm going to stick it in here anyway. I'm going to do 7 over 4. Should be right there. They should be divided a little equal. And then you have 8 over 4. The next one would be, you guessed it, 9 over 4. And then the last one the next one would be 10 over 4. And they missed another one, because this one would be 12 over 4. This one should have an 11 over 4. So they missed there. And I don't know if they wanted us to fill it in there because it's not very clear. It doesn't say that they wanted us to. If they wanted us to, they should have divided a little bit more equally. But that is actually the correct way to do the fourths. You would have had to add in 2 on each side for fourths. So moving on, thirds. So number 3 is doing it by thirds. So I'm going to do this here. And this one they want us to do. So we're going from 0 to 2. So if zeros, we're dividing it in thirds. Remember, when you're dividing these lines up, our denominators are going to stay the same throughout. So we have 3, and if we're doing 0, we have 0 at the top. So if we're having 3 here, I want to write a whole fraction here. So our denominator is going to stay the same, and if I want it to equal 1, it has to be equal on the top and bottom to be 1. So 3 over 3 goes there. So if this is 0 over 3, and that's 3 over 3, I need a 1 and a 2. So I'm going to draw 2 lines. I'm going to do this one correctly, unlike the one above it. So this is 1 over 3, because we're following our pattern, 2 over 3. Now notice our numerator is not greater because we haven't gotten to 1 yet. Once you get past the 1, that's where your numerator gets greater than your denominator because you're dealing with more than 1. So we have to get to 2. So we have 3 over 3. If I did 2 lines between these two numbers, I'm going to do 2 lines between the 1 and the 2. So I'm going to make 1 and 2 lines there. Remembering that your denominator is going to stay the same throughout this problem. So we're dealing with something over 3. So if I count it, I have 0, 1, 2, 3 for my numerators. My next numerator is going to follow the pattern and be a 4 over 3. After that, we're going to have 5 over 3. And the last one is going to be 6 over 3, because that is what equals 2 wholes. If I divided 6 by 3, I would get 2, because we're doing with 2 whole pieces when we get down to that end of the number line. So this one, we're dealing with fourths again, but we're going to do this one better than they did. Now, if you wanted to at any point in time stop this video, go through and do it on yourself and compare your answers with me at the end, you're welcome to do that. So if you want to stop this, do it on your own and then see how you're doing on your when I get done with it, feel free. So we're dealing with fourths here. And this time we're going from 2 to 3. So if we're dealing with fourths, and I have 8 fourths, I need to know where to stop. So I'm going to kind of think about this if I was going from 0 to 1. If I was doing from 0 to 1, I would have a 0 fourth and a 4 fourths. So I'd have to write a 1 fourth, a 2 fourths, and a 3 fourths. That means I'd have to write 3 lines for 3 fractions. Same thing between 2 and 3. It would still be the same amount no matter what whole numbers we're going to. So I'm going to do 3 lines. So my numerator is going to change, and now we're dealing with something over 1. So my numerator is going to be greater than my denominator, my down number. The denominator, however, is going to be fourths all the way through. So if this is fourths, and I have an 8, we're going to follow the pattern of our number line. So we have 8, then we're going to go to 9 fourths. Then we're going to go to 10 over 4, 11 over 4, and then finally we're going to do 12 over 4. And that is putting numbers on a number line that are greater than 1. Thanks for tuning in.